Welcome on in, my Ashwings, to another installment of the A to Z Commoner series for well, I guess technically it's the Mastery Pack Guardian season, but notably only for Guardians. So, with that being said, we do have a new Guardian here. Well, not a new Guardian, but the OG Guardian himself, Bravo, next on the list in the B category. So, Bravo. Very simply, one of the first heroes to ever be released in Flesh and Blood, and a very, very easy ability to understand. You pay 2 resources. Till the end of your turn, your attack action cards with cost 3 or more get Dominate, and then go again. So if you want to give your really powerful Crush cards the ability to make it really hard for your opponent to block them, you're going to want to keep a lot of blues to be able to send those powerful cards at your opponent, and then also get those Crush abilities simply because they're not going to have the armor for that. So with that being said, let's take a quick look at what Mastery Pack Guardian had given this hero, as well as talk a little bit about their playstyle and what we're looking to do. So we are running the Titan's Fist for the weapon, and then we are running the Steel Braid Buckler for the shield. Obviously, the reason being, Temper 2 in Commoner is insane. Why pass that up, right? Then we also have the head, which is Helm of Ison's Peak. This blocks 1, has Battle Worn, and then the action is you can destroy this and your hero gets +1 intellect this turn. This is really great if you happen to block out your entire hand and you still just have a red in your hand, and you can't really do anything with a red in Guardian, one single red. So the good thing you can do here is you can actually pitch it to this card and then draw 5 cards during your next hand. That's going to allow you to be able to keep a few more cards in your hand to send those powerful attacks at your opponent towards the end game. Then, of course, we do have the new chess piece Richter Scale. I like this card a lot because you're able to, again, Battle Worn 1, and then you can destroy this to create 2 Seismic Surge tokens. So you get to block a little bit more, and then on those turns in which you maybe don't really have a lot to do, maybe you full blocked and you still want to do something on your turn, you can activate Richter Scale to make 2 Seismic Surge tokens, which then make the next Guardian attack on their next turn going to cost 2 less. So gives you a bit more incentive and makes it easier for some of these attacks to come in against your opponent when you have those Seismic Surge tokens. For the arm piece, we're running Goliath Gauntlet. I think this is just really, really good. Notably, there are a couple cards in which this is just the best to pop it against. But for the most part, you can block this out with nearly anything. You can change this out with something that blocks. You can change it out with the new Courage of Battle Hold, I think, is the new arm piece. That's effectively a pay 3 resources to do this exact same thing. So I think it's nice. And again, giving it another +2 is actually really effective, just strictly because we're trying to get that crush effect off. And if it makes it harder for them to block, then we're in a good spot there. Civic Steps is our boots piece here. Now, I don't really love the fact that we're running Civic Steps strictly because I don't like giving my opponent a quicken token. But in most cases, your opponent is either going to already have Go Again when they attack with a card, therefore getting a quicken token. And it's already going to have Go Again, so it's essentially just does nothing. Or it is your opponent's playing a Guardian and they pitch all of their hand into a 7-power attack. It then eats the quicken token, and if they don't have any floating resources for like a hammer, it's kind of just like the end of the game there. So it's not as hurtful in this format, but it does still suck giving your opponent a token. But it does have Temper 2. So overall, this entire suite blocks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 points of damage you can block out on these pieces of equipment. And again, if you wanted to switch out the Goliath Gauntlet for something else, you can do the same thing there too. Then moving into the main deck, very simple. We just have a lot of our really good Crush cards, even some new iterations into here, being Disable, a new Crush card, or a Crush card that was initially in Rare, and now it is in Common. It costs a lot for you to play this, so I believe in most situations you are going to simply be blocking with this card. But if you happen to be able to keep 3 blues in your hand, if the beginning of your game is a Disable and 3 blues, and you're on the starting turn, you can pitch to Bravo and then pitch to disable to send 9 dominate at your opponent. Probably 11 if you wanted to pop something like the Goliath Gauntlet. So kind of insane, kind of really powerful, especially giving it dominate there. But we are also notably adding in things like Concuss. Concuss is really powerful because if it does have power greater than its base and it does hit, your opponent discards a card. This even counts if you just have 1 point of damage over your card. And we do make might tokens in the deck with the Pint of Strong and Stout. So theoretically, the opportunity is there for it to send for more than that. And of course, if you're really trying, you can always go ahead and play the Goliath Gauntlet. And then you can, if you have a blue in hand, you can pitch 2 to Bravo and then pitch the other ones to Concuss, have this come in for 8 dominate. And then on hit, your opponent will have to discard a card. So they'll probably use 1 card to block and then use another card to discard, or they'll lose another card to discard, making their hand even worse. A new card from Mastery Pack Guardian, Crash and Bash. The reason we're running this is because we are running a lot of these crush cards. And notably, Crash and Bash, it blocks for 4, and it says when this defends, you may reveal a card with Crush from your hand. If you do, create a Seismic Surge token. So Seismic Surges will allow you to discount the cost of your Guardian attack action on your next turn. So it's fine to block with these. Doesn't have any additional cost to it, and you're probably going to have a Crush card in your hand. We are also running Fate Foreseen and Sink Below, just as defensive value here. We're also running the new Geyser of Seismic Stirrings. This is pretty much just Malefic Incantation if it were in common, which is just kind of insane. Enters with 3 energy counters. When it has none, destroy it. Beginning of your end phase, remove an energy counter from this and create a Seismic Surge token. So big amount of damage there to be able to be utilized because it allows you to get a Seismic Surge token at the end of the turn. It is it allows you to set up for your next turn so you know that you're going to have at least 1 less, which means that in those situations, right, you have cards that come in for 4 cost, they would cost 3 instead, which is what you'd want them to do normally there. Also, notably, Grind Them Down, a new 3 for 7 that entered into the fray here. Just great value, and notably their crush ability is pretty good, being able to destroy the top card of your opponent's deck. So it is something that maybe your opponent will want to not worry about, but that 1 card very well could change the overall course of the game, so it is still a threatening crush effect there. Then we do also have both Thunderquake Red and Blue. Thunderquake got a downshift into Common, and after finally pushing to Talishar and getting over my nerves to reach out to them, they were able to get that all sorted on the Talishar queue. So now you can play with Thunderquake in the Commoner queue. So happy about that. But Thunderquake, if you don't know what it is, very simple. It's got Heave 3. You're normally not going to pitch everything to send this. What you're going to do is you're going to heave a red into your arsenal, and then you are going to wait until you draw 2 blues. The Seismic Surge tokens will pop from the heave. This will cost 3 instead of 6. And then you can go ahead and utilize Bravo's ability, give it Dominate, and send 10 Dominate with as long as you keep 2 blues in hand. So pretty good. Buckling Blow, just a blue crush card, blocks 3. Clash of Mountains, blue crush card, blocks 3. Blue Clash card, I should say, blocks 3. It is kind of interesting, though, because there is a world in which you could run into another Guardian. And if you do end up winning that battle, it's pretty cool that happens there. So not a bad addition into here. Macho Grande, great game ender. Pint of Strong and Stout blocks 2, so it doesn't feel very good, but Pint of Strong and Stout does get you a Vigor and a Might token, which is effectively just like a Seismic Surge token, and then also a +1 to your ability, so makes a lot of your hand easier to send. We have Thunk Blue. This is in case we reveal it during a clash, but we're probably really not going to be doing that. Instead, it's going to be blocking for 3 or pitching for our big attacks. And then Unmovable, 2 blue Unmovable, I should say. Very, very great add-in here for those Go Tall decks, because if they're going to come in for 6, or if your opponent's trying to threaten a crush ability as well, being able to have something like Unmovable is very good. So this is a nice kind of like setup deck. You want to set up a good crush card in Arsenal, more specifically a red, some red Guardian attack in Arsenal, And then you are going to want to keep most of your hand, or at least 2 blues in your hand after blocking out your opponent with 2 cards from your hand and also your armor. And then you are going to want to activate Bravo's ability, pay 2 resources, and then send the Guardian attack for Dominate to really threaten the on hit, and then also threaten just additional damage, right? There's only 20 life in commoner formats in most cases, so it is important to threaten life. In our sideboard, we are running the Oasis Respite, and then we are also running Stonewall Confidence, Anathos, and Blade Beckoner Gauntlets. I don't have any kind of AB in here, so if I'm going to be entirely honest, these Stonewall Confidences can probably go out for AB, just because AB2 is fine. But really, I think the Oasis Respite is what we're looking for as far as like true AB. But I believe that we can take the Stonewall Confidences out, and we can probably put in 2 pieces of AB. If I was going to put AB in the deck, it would be the boots and it would be the headpiece. Those are the 2 that I would put into the deck. The boots and the headpiece for sure. So you know what? Just for the sake of doing it live, we're going to do it here. So I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to put in Null Rune. And then we're going to put in the headpiece and then the legs. So that gives us some opportunity to prevent some damage into Rune Blades and into Wizards, stuff like that too. So that'll be good. So now that we know an idea about the deck itself, let's go ahead and take it into the Talishar queue and see if we can get to dominating some of our opponents. All right. Looks like our opponent here is a KO. So we're going to go ahead and give him the good old good luck, have fun. I don't think that anything we're going to do here is changeable. I mean, theoretically, we could probably do a Blade Beckoner Gauntlet here, but I think we're fine. And we're probably just going to send what we've got here and see if we can just get some good dominates off. So we start with a pretty rough hand of 2 D-Reacts. They are going to go first. So it is going to be, kind of an easy one for us to block out, I would think. They did discard this, so they're going to get 2 Might tokens. I think we can very comfortably block. I think we're going to block like this. Since we're not getting any kind of go again here, I'm just going to block 7. Geyser's not terrible. It might allow me to set up pretty well. I think I'm actually going to bottom it. So just because we know we're going to be drawing, there's a world in which I thought about doing that too, but okay. So this isn't terrible either. We could theoretically send 10 and then put this in Arsenal. I'm not terribly opposed to that, I think. Notably, if we do this, we can't get much else. Now, notably, if we did have a other thing there, I think we're just going to send 10. I mean, odds are, if they're playing Brute, they probably don't have really many cards that block, which is fine, right? If they're playing things like Beat Chest or Bear Fangs or Wild Ride, things like that, they might not block very well. So I think them sending 6 and me sending 10 feels pretty good. So they are going to have 2 Might tokens here, so we'll see whether or not they want to just up and take 10, but it is something. So all right, they are blocking 6. They're going to take 4. And so 2 card hands, not as easy for the Brute life, but I think that's fine, notably. Worst case scenario, we probably just fatigue him a little bit. I will Arsenal this card. Okay, not terrible. We got an unmovable here. I could theoretically send a Crush the Weak. I think Brute is kind of the hero that I don't need to worry too much about dominating things, but notably, I think it's still fine that we block a lot here. Let's see. 9 damage. If we block 3, I mean, we just block 7, right? I'll bottom that card. That is fine. I will then do this. I will pitch this, and then I will send this and pitch this. So 7 dominate. So they're going to want to block with their armor here. They can block with 2 and then 1. They're not doing anything like that. Okay. Pretty cool for me, I guess. We do have a crush card in our hand, so we are going to get some good value off this. We might actually even be able to still send this. 6. Go again. Determining if they want to destroy beaten trackers here. I don't know if they're going to have resources for all that jazz, but like maybe. All right, we'll give this and this. And I will pass. I will show them this card in my hand. I will get a cool thing. Bear Fangs for 7. I will give them this and this and this. I'll show them another one. And so notably, now this is going to come in for 7. They can block with their equipment. This is kind of crazy. Notably, this almost never happens to be able to get this, but again, they're going to want to keep most of their hand. They could take 7 here, but if they do, they're going to lose top card of their deck. This is still a crush ability, so they're still going to lose the top card of their deck if it hits. I'm curious what they've got planned here. I also probably could have pumped it a little bit to be lethal. No, we'll just pump the next one to be lethal. I think we'll just block with 1, 2, 3. 3 block on our next turn. We're still at 17 life, so I don't think that we're gonna. I don't think there's a world in which what is threatening us is going to be 17 points of damage. Depending on what we get, though. So, if we do get quite a bit here. Okay, so they're not worried about the crush. They're trying to save some life. They're going to get 2 points of damage. They're discarding an agile windup to get an agility token. Okay, so they have 2 cards in hand. Again, I don't think that deals 17 damage. And they've now blocked with both pieces of their armor. They're probably going to pop both of these if I were to guess, and then they're going to try and send whatever that is for free. Okay, 6. Oh, I'm intimidated. That's right. This is also notably an all red hand. Don't like that. So I am going to do this while we've still got it. I'm going to sink this card. Freak. Oh my God. I'm so mad. Heart and Cross Strap, Goliath Gauntlets, 8. Okay, well. Our hand is consistent of the ability to not really do much of anything here. I think we actually just block like this. Just take a small little bit of damage. We're going to draw. We are actually going to crack our headpiece here. And then I'm going to add to Arsenal, draw 5 cards. That is what we want to see because we're going to try and kill here. So they don't really have a lot of power left. Again, they have to send 13. We can very well on this hand sink below one of these cards. We can even unmovable if we really wanted to. 5 go again. I'm going to say no blocks, and I am just going to sink below. I think I'm just going to put this at the bottom of the deck. That's fine. I mean, it's still blue. Okay, 5. What do we need to kill here? We need to pump and then send. Does 9 dominate at our opponent? So I need to keep 2 blues, right? Sure. All right. Goliath Gauntlet, Bravo ability, pitch here. 9 dominate, lose their hero power. So they'll block one here. They'll have to block with one card from hand. I'm assuming they're not going to have a D-React. And so because they're not going to have a D-React, we are certainly going to be looking into getting their hero power turned off, which is really good. That means that they do not have... they don't have the ability to do the discard thing. So that's kind of cool. It also, of course, brings them down really low. Okay. I mean, this is Macho Grande. There's probably no way they can kill us here, right? Well, they did discard a 6 here. Okay, 9 damage. We need to keep every card in our hand to send Macho Grande. So I'm just going to give him this. Block out a little bit. Macho Grande. And that is game. There you go. I think we dominated nearly everything every turn. So pretty powerful stuff. Brute notably doesn't block super well. Ooh, they had the double Bear Fangs that turn too. This hand actually was really bad for them. Sirens of Safe Harbor is pretty cool because if it's a 6 that discards, you also get to gain a life. Not a bad tech. I'm going to keep that in mind for my video. So let's go ahead and get into our next match and see how Bravo does into their next opponent. All right. Looks like we are going against a Viserai. I think I'm going to go first here. Notably because I think it's pretty much just going to be a hope that we get a dominate effect in our hand here. I do think we're going to give up the leg piece here for some rune chance. And then we're just going to kind of send everything else. So we should be in a good spot. All right. Our hand is certainly, I mean, technically that is what this is a crush ability. Our opponent does not have anything besides AB1 or block 1. So they're not going to be able to block out this entire effect. So that is, we can do this. Well, we probably want to do Crush the Weak. So I think that's what we're going to go ahead and do. I think we are going to, yeah, we're going to activate Bravo. We're going to pitch 2, and then we're going to send a Crush the Weak for 7 dominate. We're going to block 1, and they can block with 3, right? I guess they can block with a card from hand and then give me their headpiece already, which is fine. So they're going to take the Crush ability. That's unfortunate for them. I don't know that they're going to be able to have a turn. Okay. They've got the Sutcliffs. I do have to pitch a card for it. They got 2 Rune Chance. Okay, Deadwood, Rune Rager. So it looks like very Rune Rager heavy. They probably should have blocked with that Ironrod Helm. If they were going to block out this, so they could have a turn. But maybe this is just the setup turn, huh? Oh, all right. Yeah, I guess that works. The Rune Chance, I think we can skip the Rune Chance. I don't need to worry about Rune Chance. This is going to be, again, we're going to have to do pretty much the same thing here. Crush Confidence is not super great. Let's give... let's just give 4 here. No real on hits occurring here, so we'll just take 2. And then we're going to do the same thing, except this time I think we're definitely going to pop Goliath Gauntlet. So we're going to pop Goliath Gauntlet, and then I think I'm going to play Carlos Crutch here. So pop this, play Bravo, pitch, pitch, play, pitch. 9 dominate. Going to cost next, their next ability is going to cost 1 resource more. Totally fine. Notably, also, if they take 9, they're going to go down to 7, which could get us closer to another thing. So, but we do know the cards they had on top were where the heck were they? Hit the high notes. Looks like. Okay, so they're going to block with their 1 piece of armor. Take 8. All right, and then we just have a nice little amount here. I think this one might actually be worth ABing. I will think I AB here. I'm going to AB this Macho Grande. 1, 1. 2 damage coming in. Don't really care so much about 2 damage. 1 chant. I'll say no to the chant. 3 on Hocus Pocus. Let's just block right here. All right. Very simple. Send 7. They give me 2 cards. That's fine. If they don't give me 2 cards, that's also fine. But they're going to have to give me 2 because there's no way they have a D-React, more than likely. And there's no way that this doesn't come in for Crush. Okay, they're giving me 2. Sweet. It's fine. And this, just an Arsenal? Okay. That's not terrible either. We will go ahead and we will... I guess we're going to Chokeslam here. We're going to Bravo, pitch. And then we are going to Chokeslam, pitch. Keep a Fate Foreseen in Arsenal. So, and now they're not going to be able to gain power. So if there is anything that's going to gain power, which I don't actually think there is notably, nothing really gains power in this deck. Mainly just Rune Chant stuff. So you're going to take 5 here, go down to 2, and then I just need to do that one more time. Okay, 1 blue. I've got this here, I guess, theoretically. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 11 points of damage. I think I'll skip on the chance. We will block. So notably, if we take 6, they didn't play they did play Deadwood Dirge. Okay. So they play Deadwood in this, so they can pitch a card and then send something else. I guess we can just kind of take it easy here. I do think notably we win if we just D-React here. So we'll see whether or not they pop this. Yep, they are going to pop it. I am then just going to go ahead and Fate Foreseen. Well, I mean, we don't really want to do that. So we're going to bottom. Okay, so I'll take 2. And then you're going to send a Consuming Volition. This is going to be for... And notably, this says if you've dealt arcane damage, discard a card. I have been dealt arcane damage, so I would end up discarding. That's fine, though. I think we can technically do this, and we still win? Yeah. Then we just do this, 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 and we win? Maybe? That's it. All right. Good game. Yeah, that's kind of a hard one there. I mean, taking a lot in that room, in that chant there damage. I do think Crash and Bash is kind of insane, being able to block 4 and then also get a resource for the next turn. That might be pretty powerful moving forward here. Just being able to block 4 and then know that I get a resource, I can pitch that into Bravo, have 1 float, pitch a red into a 3 power. Discount's pretty huge. And notably, we did still have 1 block left on our shield. We still had a healthy deck. And I'm assuming they weren't on any kind of D-Reacts. No. Which is important. They shouldn't be. So we just ended up getting able to make the play. I think if we didn't have a block there, if we didn't have a Crash and Bash there, and we had to sink below instead, that hand certainly would have just been Titan's Fist Pass. But because we got it, we got it. So let's go ahead and do a quick review of the deck itself and how I feel it played in the commoner meta. All right, so overall, I think the deck performed pretty well. We got 2 wins out of it, several tons of dominate into our opponents, really just kind of sending a lot of this damage through. I do also want to mention that I did go against a couple Fang player, or a Fang player earlier in the day when I was testing if Thunderquake would work in the commoner queue, and we got a W there. So we are at 100% win rate with 4 wins here. Now, of course, does that mean that if we go into an Oldhim or an Ira or a Dash, are we going to get the same result? Probably not, but we at least know that we're getting wins, right? We know that at least into quite a bit of the heroes, we are getting some wins. And as you can see, the consistency of the deck is really good, because while you're not doing a lot to pump up some power in the deck, what instead you are doing is pretty much making sure that you are always going to be able to send something with Dominate. Sending something with Dominate is really good, especially when you can block 8 on your armor. Absolutely insane amount of value there. And that just, again, allows you to really push the damage through and force your opponent to be in a situation where they have to make awkward decisions. They have to block differently. Maybe you're going to see more people put in things like D-Reacts if Guardian becomes more prevalent. So aggro decks might even play something like at least a Sink Below, because it's pretty powerful. So let me know what you thought about the deck in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Let me know if you think that Guardian is definitely in a better place after Mastery Pack Guardian in the commoner format. Obviously, I think with the introduction of Thunderquake, being able to start our turn with sending 10, pretty good. Gotta say, can't be upset at that. So I do think that it is really, really awesome that Thunderquake is in the format. Definitely a polarizing card, I would think. So I'm not sure how long it's going to stay that way, but we will see. But if you did enjoy today's episode as well, make sure to go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel as well if you have not already. We are moving on and upwards to 2,700 subscribers. I'm hoping to hit 3K by at least the end of the year. So with your support, I can certainly make that happen. And then, of course, if you want to do a solid for me and my channel and become a channel member, that's also super awesome. It helps support the channel in your own special way. And I'm eventually kind of getting something together to where I can thank every single one of you during the video, because I want you to feel appreciated. And so that's what I'm going to go ahead and work on getting. But for now, just thank you all to my channel members that currently exist. I appreciate you so much, and thank you for continuing to support me. And if you want to see more commoner videos in the Master Pack Guardian meta, feel free to keep on watching. There should be a playlist that pops up somewhere here soon, and that's where you can find all of our other games. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your support, and I hope you continue to have fun in the flesh and blood. And I will see all of you beautiful Ashwings in our next installment of the Commoner series A to Z.